How's it going, everybody? Imperial here with the inaugural edition of Greeblie of the Week, a series that will most likely not be weekly nor dedicated to any one particular Greeblie, but is part of some of the extra content that I thought I would like to bring to you to diversify my channel, of course, and not just get bogged down in any one project. These are going to be little things that can help out with various different projects that you may be having, whether it be costuming or model building or prop construction, what have you. Now today I'm going to just be starting simply. I want to talk about the fact that Star Wars toys are probably some of the best Greebly sources that you can come up with. Now, if you're like me and you have kids that have grown up with Star Wars toys and they're now out of the house, you probably have a bucket full of old stuff that's probably half broken, and you probably wonder, what am I going to do with this? The fact of the matter is that a lot of these pieces can be reused. A good example is a member of our Southern California Imperial Outlanders squad, Carlos Arredondo, who did an absolutely amazing Mandalorian medic helmet utilizing, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I'm going to show it here to you here in a second and see if you can figure out what he used on the front of this helmet here. Did you get it? Did you see what I used? Does anybody out there know what this is? That's right. He used the back end of an X-Wing fighter. A Star Wars figure X-Wing fighter engine piece from the back end of the toy he utilized as a front mask piece. Brilliant idea. Now I recognize it, and a lot of people probably will, but a lot of people won't. And that's the thing about Star Wars, is there's a lot of continuity, there's a lot of things that have an air of familiarity to them because there's a certain aesthetic that goes to Star Wars. Okay? And in reusing this in an unexpected way, you get an unexpectedly cool result. Now I'm going to give you an example of a couple of different things that I think could be reused. How many of you guys have any pieces of old pod racers or speeders laying around? These things get heavily played with. They don't always survive, but they really have some cool parts to them. Like Carlos did with the part for the face mask of his Mandalorian costume. Check this out. Can you see that as possibly being on the front end of a mask of some kind? Okay, this is an old prototype Star Wars toy. They came out in the mid-2000s, I think. It could have just been leftovers. But basically they were to show what concepts were for vehicles as opposed to what was fun. This is supposed to be like the early version of like a speeder bike. Of course, we also have things like Anakin's pod racer. That could sit on a pauldron, or not a pauldron, but a gauntlet. It looks a lot like a drone. You could mock it up to be a drone. You could probably also put it on something as a part of a face mask. Another example is this. Check out those engines. You can remove those. You can cut those down. This in and of itself could be a blaster. You know, similar to the Star Wars blaster from Guardians of the Galaxy, but actually it's even closer to the blaster utilized in the Black Hole, the Disney Star Wars. What Disney came up with as their response to Star Wars. There's various different parts on it that you can utilize. You know, you've got these turbine-looking things on the back. You've got these parts here. So the thing is that when you're dealing with old broken toys or old toys that your kids have, it doesn't even have to be Star Wars toys. Let me show you this. Check this out. This was, I have no idea even when this came out, but it was part of a Happy Meal. It's a McDonald's Happy Meal toy. It's basically, it's a little walkie-talkie looking thing, but what does it look like? It's basically very similar to the radio that's utilized on the Hoth Rebel Troopers kit with their helmet. I mean, not their helmet, with their hat. And I know it's not screen accurate, but if you were to come up with, let's say, your own original type of a character, say it's a bounty hunter or something that's based on, you know, kind of the denizens and background characters, you know, this could be a very useful Greeblie. You can put it on, you can, as I said before, you can put it on a gauntlet, you could put it on your armor, you could turn it around backwards, you know, you just never know. And so if you have a chance to, when you're going to like garage sales or you happen to be at Goodwill stores or places like that, now I said when you do it, because you should. If you're serious about wanting to get into Greeblies, there's 3 things that you need to know. Number 1, model kits and kit bashing, okay? Even old broken down models, even incomplete model kits, you can still get pieces out of that you can use towards various different projects. I literally made some very cool spaceships out of battleship parts when I was in junior high school, because I had seen the Star Wars making of and how they talked about kit bashing and things like that, and I went ahead and cut up some pieces of it, and they were for how old I was and what I was doing, they were actually pretty cool. I'd like to replicate them someday. But model kits, number 1. Number 2, everyday stuff that you can repurpose, particularly if it's toys, old space toys. Okay, you find a lot of these at Goodwill. You find a lot of them at flea markets. Don't look at the toy for what it is. Look at it for what it possibly could avail to you. You know, I could very easily take the top part of this and make it into a rocket or some kind of a small backpack, or not backpack, but like incorporated in as a small jetpack or something. I mean, obviously it'd be too small for a full-size adult costume, but you know, you can always find various different ray guns and different other types of toys that just have really cool parts that can be bashed together. Third thing that you're going to want to look at is electronic stuff. Old cables, old connectors, old wires, stuff like that. We're going to get into that on a completely different episode of this series. But for now, I just wanted to kind of bring it to your attention. Some things that you should keep in mind that can help add a sense of authenticity or extra detail to your costume making, particularly if you belong to groups like the Imperial Outlanders, where we're not so quite caught up on screen accuracy necessarily. You know, we believe in a certain amount of freedom of expression. We don't discourage screen accuracy, but we don't require it. And or if you look at like the Mandalorian Mercs, as a great example of a group that starts with an aesthetic. They have specific types of Mandalorian armors that have to meet certain criteria, but within that criteria, there's a lot of room for customization, and that's one of the coolest things about the costumes that I've seen from friends of mine that are in the Mandalorian Mercs is the way that they customize their armor so it's not like anybody else's, you know, and little things like this can go a long way in helping you out with that. So anyway, that's all the time I have for today. I'll be coming at you soon with some more content, so see you next time.